Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news now on the United Stand with me, Mark Goldbridge. Let's get the latest Man United news. We're going to be talking Victor Osimhen, transfer talks with Manchester United, huge demands. Would you pay those demands? Could Manchester United pay those demands? We'll talk about that. Also, more developments around Cunha and talks with him. We'll talk about that. Calvert-Lewin is back in the Man United radar, which means that's coming in from Ineos, not from Frank Ruben Amorim. We'll talk about that as well, and a few other bits to get into early tonight because, of course, it is Champions League night, so I'll be live on That's Football for that. Tune in for that as well. We'll get into some other bits from the day I want to discuss too. And, of course, any questions that you lot have got. So make sure you smash a like, get involved. And, of course, we're sponsored by boohooMAN on the show. Fantastic clothing items delivered to your door. boohooMAN.com is the place to go. They got gym wear. They got underwear. They got Netflix and chill wear. They got five-a-side wear. They've got everything wear. And you can check the website out. There's discounts across it all the time. But you can get an extra 10% on anything, even if it's not discounted, even if it is discounted, by using our exclusive code, especially for you, GOLDBRIDGE. Link in the description or scan that QR code. Big shout out to boohooMAN. Get yourself kitted out, stylish for spring. And actually, that's got me thinking, actually. We are an amazing community. I actually Googled this today. Colour combos that work for men. I'm not a woman, so it doesn't matter. But men, somebody said to me, what was the colour combo that really caught me out? Navy blue and white, obviously. I think that's quite obvious. But there was a khaki or an olive green and some other colour. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, let us know in the chat about that, just for something interesting. But, boohooMAN, check out, get your combinations there. We've also got a bit of trivia before we get into the Osimhen news, which is big. Can you tell me this player? I was born in 1957 in County Durham. I joined United in 81, signed by Ron Atkinson, and spent over a decade at the club. In my time at United, I played over, I know it is. I played over 400 times, scoring 99 goals, and I won 9 trophies. 1 in 4. He played 400 times and scored. I wonder why he didn't stay and score 100 goals as well. I wonder why they didn't let him score 100 goals. That's crazy. I never knew that. He won 9 trophies. Nicknamed Captain Marvel. I'm seen as one of the greatest skippers in United's history. I finished my playing career at Man United at Middlesbrough at 39, but continued as the manager at the club and went on to manage Bradford, West Brom, Sheffield United and Thailand. Of course, it's Robbo, Brian Robson. What a documentary that is as well. Well done to everyone who got that. 99 goals. I never realised that. In the modern day, they'd manipulate that so you could get 100 goals. But sentimentality, it was just about quality in them days. No time for charity. Anyway, big thank you to boohooMAN. Check it out. 10% on top of everything else with the code GOLDBRIDGE. Okay, let's start the show. I hope you're all doing well. I'm feeling a lot better. I can even sense it in my, passion and not passion, energy. I can sense a different level of energy to the last few days. So yeah, definitely feeling that. But let's hit this breaking news. It's coming in from Rob Dawson, ESPN. He says Victor Osimhen is targeting a move to the Premier League or Juventus this summer. He's available for £55.5 million. He's on Manchester United's shortlist for the summer window, but he has been leapfrogged by Delap in partly because of his salary. Osimhen's demands are expected to reach around £9.4 million a year after tax, and United are actively trying to bring that wage down. Now, people have been working on maths and saying £10 million after tax in the UK works out at well over 300k a week. So, not a chance is what I'm going to say. First of all, not a chance. Greg Donald says pay the salary. Well, that was going to be my next question. You get what you pay for. Do you walk away from a deal because you can't afford it, even though the striker option is going to be a game changer? Or do you try and find a way of doing the deal? Because Bruno Fernandes is on £300,000 a week. Casemiro's on 350 grand a week. Mason Mount's on 250 grand a week. I mean, if you could get rid of Casemiro and Mount, I'd give Osimhen 340 grand a week. But, and that might sound outrageous, but it's context, isn't it? Can we afford 340 grand a week? No. But why can't we do it? is there add-ons part of that? So for me, it's not a dismissive, we shouldn't be doing this. Osimhen, if he wants to come to Man United and it's simply about the wage, I would be quite proud of the fact that he wants to come to us. If it's just wage, and people would say, well, he only wants to come to us for the wage, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Man United still has a gravitas, especially, I think Osimhen does like Manchester United as well. But look, we can't just be, we're going for Delap because he's cheap. We can't just be that. And I've read it all over the place. I've seen it all over the place. And I agree with it all over the place. Most Man United fans are, Liam Delap's a decent player and he's a decent prospect, but he's not a player for now. And he's not the player that we need right now. Osimhen comes into this team and he's the player right now. Right here, right now. You stick him up in front for Man United tomorrow, Garnacho's getting a mouthful. Ahmad's getting a mouthful. Xerxes getting a mouthful. Mount's getting a mouthful. Give me the fucking ball. Give me the ball. Stop pissing about. Stop shooting. Stop running into people. Get the ball into me or we're going to have problems. And I want that. I want that arsehole up front. I want that arrogance up front. And you can't teach that. We haven't got time to teach that. Maybe Delap could be that in 3 years. Maybe Rasmus could be that in 3 years. But Osimhen could be that now. So what price is what I'm getting at? What price is that right here, right now? What is it worth? Quantifiably, what is it worth? If you're going to give Liam Delap 120 grand a week and pay Ipswich 42 million, but Napoli want 55 million, but you're going to pay 300 grand a week for Osimhen, remember, you're going to be training Delap up for 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is. So maybe it's maybe sometimes you get what you pay for, you know. The volume was a little bit low. Sorry, I didn't realise that. So yeah, maybe you do. I'm going to do a poll on this. Would you pay 300k a week for Osimhen? Look. It might not be. It might not be 340k. Let's just say 300k. Would you give him 300k a week? And I think I get it. I do get it. I get we can't pay stupid wages. We can't pay stupid wages. But giving Anthony 200 grand a week, or Mason Mount 250 grand a week, or Harry Maguire 200 grand a week, or Eriksen 150 grand a week, that's stupid wages. I get it. Giving Erling Haaland 400 grand a week isn't stupid. Giving Mbappe 400 grand a week ain't stupid. So is giving Osimhen 300 grand a week stupid? It's context. I don't think... We are not a business in our minds as football fans. We may well be to the Glazers and we may well be to Sir Jim, but as fans, we ain't playing bloody Monopoly. I agree we need to get that wage bill down. But I don't agree we need to get that wage bill down to the point that we say we're not paying over 200 grand for anybody. I think you get what you pay for. And if you removed Casemiro and you remove Eriksen, 500,000, and you remove Lindelof, 600,000, and you remove Rashford, 900,000, and you remove Sancho, 1.2 million, that's 1.2 million pounds a week. Gone. I've got 1.2 million pounds a week. Save, replacement for Eriksen, 80 grand a week. Replacement for Lindelof, 60 grand a week. I've still got $1 million, 300 grand a week for Osimhen, 700 grand a week. So what I'm saying is we can and will reduce the wage bill because it's stupid. But at this moment in time, with Casemiro, Rashford, Sancho, Eriksen, Lindelof still on the wage bill, we aren't even in the top 3 Premier League wage payers now. I think we're 4th. So how far do we drop down on wages? Are we going to go down to 8th as well? Like, we are Manchester United. We should still be in the top 4 for wages. We need to reduce it, but let's not keep reducing it to a stupid level because we'll end up where we are in the league because that's what we're paying. So I think Anthony's going to go as well, says Amarin Reds. I think there'll be a lot of people saying we shouldn't pay for Osimhen. I'm sort of leaning to the point that we're going to save a lot of money on wages this summer. And, you know, you can't have an entire squad under 200 grand a week. You've got to have a handful of key experienced players. So Bruno is going to be on 300 grand a week. Why can't you have Osimhen on 300 grand a week and say, well, he's on that because he's 26 and he's one of the best goal scorers in Europe. That's why he's on that. If you want to get to that level, learner drivers, learn to drive. You know? And that's, so for me, I'm not I purposely thought about it before I went live, and I thought, not going to go live and go, greedy bastard, forget about it. I'm actually going to go, you know what? If it's the right player, why should we not pay? My fear is Sir Jim and Joel will go, end of the day, we're not paying those wages anymore. So it's a no from us, Victor. Rory, you're the guy. And you get what you pay for. So look, I don't know. I don't know what you think, but I think there is people out there who've become sort of indoctrinated into the PR of Sir Jim and the Glazers that, you know, we won't pay silly wages anymore. But when you scratch the surface, we won't pay silly wages anymore because we want to save money for ourselves. Well, no, we will pay big wages for big players. That's what I would do. So, look, if it's a choice between Liam Delap on 120 grand a week and Osimhen on 300 grand a week, sign him up. There's a risk with everybody. Some people think Liam Delap will fail, so that's a waste of money. 40 million down the drain and 120 grand down the drain for 5-year contract. It'll be here for 5 years. It'll be a 5-year mistake. So, look, I think I'd do it. I think I would. 52% of you would, 48% of you wouldn't. But I think 48% of you have, unfortunately, some of that 48% have, unfortunately, been poisoned by the ownership's mantra of we won't pay silly wages anymore. But we're not in the top 3 in the Premier League for wage spend anymore. We've already reduced it. And we're going to reduce it by £52 million in the summer by getting rid of Eriksen and Lindelof and Rashford and Anthony and Sancho. So we can start paying wages. And let's not forget, Bruno's on 300 grand a week. Mount's on 250 grand a week. Luke Shaw's on 200 grand a week. I'd be quite happy having a star striker around 300 grand a week. I would. WH99 says 250k maximum. Why? Why? He's a 26-year-old top class striker, proven. 300 grand a week's fine. We're shit. We need to get back to the top. We need a striker for the next 3 years that's going to score us 20 goals at least every year in the Premier League. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. If we're going to pay those wages for a striker, I'd rather get Gyökeres. Probably won't happen, but it's what I'd do. Well, Brandon, I don't disagree. I'm not doing Victor Gyökeres against Victor Osimhen because what I've been told is he's going to Arsenal. And what I've been told is United have pulled out the race. So I agree. I'll pay for Gyökeres. He might be a bit cheaper. He might not be 300 grand a week. So I would, yeah, I completely agree. What we're talking about here is, should we pay top wages for a top striker? Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I was labouring under a misapprehension, but this is the priority position, and this is the person that's going to score us the goals. Now, yeah, definitely. Ruben bought Gyökeres from Coventry when he was a nobody and turned him into an animal. He could do the same with Delap, and he is Premier League proven, says Wayne. Thank you very much, Wayne. One of our longest members, 56 month. Yes, Wayne, I hope that happens. If it does happen, I suppose the flip side would be Coventry to Sporting in the Portuguese league is not the same as you've had a shit first year, you're miles off everybody else, you've got no time. Turn Liam Delap from a championship striker or a relegation striker or a young kid into a striker. You haven't got 3 years to do it. You've got 3 months, and that's the problem. It's Manchester United, and will he get the time to do that? Should he get the time to do that? Be nice for a top striker to actually say, I want United regardless of Europe and not greedy, says Garfield. Yeah, but Those people probably don't exist anymore. Enciso is 4th in the Premier League for shots per 90 with 4.4, more than Haaland and Palmer, yet 0% conversion. Delap 59th with 2.3 shots. Feels Garnacho-esque. Is he not assertive enough in the final third, says Red Devil Girl. Maybe he's not getting the service, Red Devil Girl. I don't know. I don't watch Ipswich. I don't think anyone does apart from Ipswich fans. This for me is about ambition. If we have it, we make a decent attempt to get him, says Sean. Look, for me, football is very much like owning a restaurant. You know, you can try and be organic and small and, you know, not recruit the best chef and try and work your way up. Or you can recruit the best chef, make a big song and dance about it, pack out your restaurant with quality food, and make money. And football's very much the same. You know, I don't know why we're going organic and potential over, you know, star. And last time I checked, our last 2 Premier League seasons were bloody awful. 8th last year, going to be bottom half this year. We're trajecting down. Like that's the headline. We're trajecting down in the Premier League. Over the last 3 years, we're going dum, dum, dum. And I'm sure we'll probably go up a little bit next year, but how high and for how long? You're not climbing the Premier League on potential and cheap. You need to match quality for quality. I mean, I look at that Aston Villa side. I sound like Carragher. I look at that Aston Villa side. And it's better than ours. Their bench is... Most of their bench would start for Man United. That's Aston Villa. There's people out there who think we're Manchester United. We can get top 4 just on a bloody name. Not anymore. Not anymore. It's about quality, and we don't have enough of it. And, you know, let's look at Villa. All right, Rashford might not be there, but they're still going to have Malen. They'll probably still bring other players in. They're still going to have Watkins. They're still going to have Ramsey, Rodgers, McGinn, Tillemans, Onana, Kamara. They'll buy players as well. They've got quality. Do you think Villa are going to look at us and go, ooh, we've got Liam Delap and Tyler Dibbling. Ooh, bloody hell. Shitting ourselves. You're hard. No, I don't think they will. And also, even if those players do end up being good, they're going to take time. How many more years are we going to finish outside the top 8? Did we get what we paid for with Sanchez? No. For me, pass on Osimhen. When we get to where Arsenal, then fine. Go get Osimhen, not now. And how are we going to get there, River Manu? So let's pass on Osimhen. Let's pass on Gyökeres until we get where Arsenal are second, and then we can buy them. How the hell are we getting second then? Like, and also, you can't look at Sanchez and say that's a reason not to buy anybody else. Sanchez had injuries and was 29. We thought we were doing another Van Persie, but lightning very rarely strikes twice. He was 29, he had injuries, and we thought we were going to get another Van Persie, and we got what we got. That is not a reason to not buy somebody. So Man City shouldn't have bought Haaland because... I'm trying to think of a player that flopped at Man City under Pep before that. You know, but that's my point. You know, you buy quality, it won't always work, but there's a bigger chance it will work. If we're going to pay those wages for striker, I'd get Gyökeres as Brandon. Thank you very much to Wayne. Save and burn out. Who will provide the chances for Osimhen anyway, says Siraj. Ben says, is it possible to give him a starting salary of 250k per week, and if in his first season he scores X amount of goals, his salary rises to 300k? Yeah, I mean, bonuses are always going to be a good way. 340k a week screams errors of the past, says Nicholas McCory. Yeah, it does, but that can't be... What I'm saying is, I do agree with that to a certain extent, but you're doing Ineos's work for them. You're doing the Glazers' work for them. If you are seeing those wage demands and going, no, forget about it, you're going to end up with Liam Delap. So don't moan about it. And that's what I was thinking about before I went live. I was like, if I come out and go, piss off, Osimhen, you greedy shit, we're not paying you that, I'm going to end up with Liam Delap and I can't moan. So I've got to look at it and go, is it worth paying the really good wage to get that type of a player? Or do I just go... This is a game of Monopoly, let's go for Liam Delap. And you've got to think it through. And actually, I support a football club. I don't support a business. We've already reduced our wage bill, and then we're going to reduce it a lot more. Bruno's on 300 grand a week. Casemiro's on 350 grand a week. Why could we not pay one player this summer a top wage? Why couldn't we? Because I tell you what, if Gyökeres, and people don't think about it like this, we're football fans. We're not bloody accountants. And if you say no, forget it, Osimhen, you may as well, you know, start cheering for Sir Jim and the Glazers because you're doing their work for them. And my point is this. If we did buy Gyökeres or Osimhen and we gave them what do you think they should get? 200 grand a week? Forget, they're worth more than that. They're worth 250 grand a week anyway. They are. You're not getting that quality of striker. You can't say we need a proven goal scorer who's experienced and then say, but I'm only going to give you 200 grand a week. You've got to give them 250 anyway. So you give them 250, they come in, they score the goals you say they will, and they win the Golden Boot or they win the Player of the Year at Man United. You know what happens next summer? I want 300 grand a week. Bruno's on 300 grand a week. I want 300. They're going to want that wage anyway. So you end up paying what you get for anyway. And this is what I mean. Just be very wary of Sir Jim and the Glazers and what they put out there about, because they want you to go, well, we don't want... I mean, have you ever thought this story could be complete and utter bollocks anyway? Have you ever thought they're trying to manipulate you to go for Liam Delap? Have you ever... Because I do. That's exactly what I think. I think, hold on a minute. Rob Dawson in ESPN's been told Osimhen's wage demands, has he? Ooh. Wonder why Romano's not been told it. Wonder why David Ornstein's not been told it. Ooh. I wonder if it might be a little bit of, yeah, let's blow the Osimhen stories out the water and make the fans say it's too expensive. Oh, we'll have to take Liam Delap now. Yes, we've won. You know? But the reality is, all I've heard for the last 8 months, 18 months actually, is we need a proven, experienced striker. And I agree. But what are you going to pay for that as a wage? Because if you think you're paying 200 grand a week for it, well done. You've got an absolute bargain. The going rate for a proven striker who's going to be in their mid-20s is going to be around 250 grand a week anyway. So, you know, are we not just being played here? Oh my God, Osimhen wants 340 grand a week. Oh, so it's only about, and that probably includes bonuses. So actually, he wants just a little bit more than going rate. What? Wow, oh my God. What a surprise. Osimhen is worth 300k. Any big club will pay that. I can see us becoming a feeder club if we buy young. We need experience now, says Zane. Rob Always United says, we're shifting some big wages soon. Of course we can pay it. Of course we bloody can. How consistent will Delap be, says Liam. And as a squad, we're in a tough spot of needing both quality and quantity. It feels like the ownership is asking Amrim to choose quality or quantity, says Brandon. He caused problems at Napoli, hence the price. Bad apple if you read it up on him. Player profile is a must. Just look at Sancho, says Nicholas McCory. I'm not disputing that Osimhen might be a problem. He might be. But a striker. Some of you wanted Ivan Toney last year. Was he not a problem off the pitch? You know, Teddy Sheringham and Andy Cole didn't get on. The reality is, you can't always have your cake and eat it. Is he a proven goal scorer at Napoli? Yes. Is he a proven goal scorer at Galatasaray? Yes. Do we need a proven goal scorer? Yes. You know? So, look, I'm not saying it's the right or wrong thing to do. What I'm saying is, I think you're being manipulated into Delap by some very clever PR, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's move on. Calvert-Lewin. I don't want to talk about Calvert-Lewin, but there was a story that came out today. I forget where it was coming from. I might be able to find it while I'm talking. Talk and look. So basically, we've been linked to Calvert-Lewin. I think he's out of contract this summer. Manchester United and a couple of other clubs have been linked to him. The reason I mention it is because we legitimately have been looking at Calvert-Lewin for 18 months. Pretty much since Ineos took over. So it's very much a player that when I see the name, I know from good sources that we have been looking at him for 18 months. Now, I don't know why we're looking at him. You know, I've got a bloody clue why we're looking at him. But, you know, it's a little bit like walking into your living room on a Sunday afternoon and people are watching bloody Antiques Roadshow. Why are you watching it? But they are. And Calvert-Lewin has been watched by Manchester United. He's injury prone. but he's cheap. Look, I bring you the news. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'd rather bring Chicharito back, and I don't even know if he still plays. Absolutely not. No, and a little bit more no. But look, I don't want to say anything else about that because I think we've given it way too much talk. Let's talk about Cunha. So this has come out from Ben Jacobs again. He's saying that Manchester United are going to hold talks with Cunha in the next week. You know, Manchester United are set to hold talks with Cunha's agent in the coming days. United are seriously considering a move. £60 million release clause. Release clauses have to be paid now. You don't do them instalments. So if you want to play in instalments, you've got to do what we did with Xerxes. You've got to go, we'll pay more than the release clause, but pay you over 3 or 4 years. So we would have to go over 60 million and probably say we'll give you 15 million a year for 5 years. So what's that? That's 75 million. So maybe not quite that much, but that's the only way we're going to do this deal. I love the idea of Cunha. I really do. I'm not going to change my opinion on it. I love the idea of this player. I haven't had a feeling about a player as suitable for Manchester United and revolutionary as Manchester United, and I haven't been so confident that a player will fit us like a glove since Bruno. I had the same feeling about Bruno, and if you've been watching the United stand for that long, you'll remember the Mallorcan holiday where there was a boat sinking behind me and the summer of Bruno, and it didn't happen, and I felt we'd missed a massive opportunity, and I said, if we got him, he's going to hit the ground running. He's going to be amazing. I'm telling you now, we've made a mistake and we didn't sign him. And then we bought him in January and he hit the ground running and he was bloody brilliant. And I feel the same about Cunha. I think if we get him in, he's got the right temperament for us. He's got that Man United old school sort of passion and fire. He's Premier League proven. He's at the right age. He's got experience. It's a step up. I think he'd be perfect, but I don't trust this ownership. It doesn't feel like it's too good to be true. He's too perfect for us. I don't think he's perfect for Liverpool. I don't think he's perfect for Arsenal. I don't think he's perfect for Man City. I think he's perfect for us and where we are. I think we're the best fit for him because he might maybe he's not ready for like Arsenal, Liverpool title race and Champions League. Maybe he needs a couple of years with United, you know, and he grows that little bit extra with us. I just think he's perfect for us, but I think he's too perfect. I think he's too expensive. I don't think he's too expensive. It's a bit like Osimhen again. You get what you pay for. I don't want to be indoctrinated into the PR of Sir Jim and the Glazers where they go, we've got no money. And then fans are going, we can't afford him, Mark. Let's leave it. We should be affording a player like this. It's transformative. It's a hit the ground running player. You put Osimhen up front or Gyökeres up front, they're ready to go in August. Game 1, give me the ball. I want the golden boot. You put Cunha in our team in August, he's ready to go. I want top 4. I want to win things. I want to be player of the year. And this is the thing for me. And it's the message I'm going to keep talking about. There are players out there that go into the United side and instantly say, I'm here. Aura, let's go. Let's go. I'm playing football today, not tomorrow. You know, I want to sit down and do it now. I don't want to plan it for 3 years. Let's go. And the problem is we're being linked with players, more learner drivers, whatever, but we're being linked with players that are going to come in and automatically be, I'm a work in progress. I'm going to try my best, but I am a work in progress. I might be brilliant in 2 or 3 years' time, whereas Osimhen, Gyökeres, Cunha, Frimpong, these players come in and go, I'm here to do it now. I'm in my prime. I'm ready to go. And that's what you're paying for. So you can't go, I don't want to pay £62 million to Wolves for Cunha. I'd rather pay 30 million to Southampton for whoever. But that's what you're paying for. You're paying for potential. They're not ready now. They'll be ready in 2 or 3 years' time, probably. And that's what you're paying for. But you're paying 60 million for a player that's ready now. And that, yeah, I'd love us to do this deal. I don't think so. It could be true, but it could also be, let's get Man United involved because everybody knows Man United would love to buy him and that'll make Arsenal and everyone else prop their ears up and offer some money. So Yeah, I love to do it, but I don't trust it. I really don't. I desperately want us to bring in at least 2 ready-to-go signings, and obviously we've spoken about 2 tonight. Chicharito is still playing. He's in Mexico, says Carlo. Get him in. Get him in over Calvert-Lewin. Z is boss, says false narrative of Osimhen being a problem player has stuck on people's minds. His own club racially profiled him on their official social account, which made him have a fallout with Napoli, says Z. Look, I've been aware of Osimhen for a long, long time. When I used to do my career modes, I'd often buy him. At Napoli, I thought he was unbelievable. There was a time at Napoli, maybe 3-4 years ago, where I was like, this is the guy to go and get. The videos are there on the channel. They certainly won't have been deleted. I was absolutely convinced that this was the striker that we should be looking at, and I think we did look at it, and I think he was too expensive. The fact that he's still only 26 and he's cheap, I don't think anything's changed. I don't think he's a worse player at 26 than he was at 22. I still think he's a fantastic player. I think he's had a fallout at Napoli, and there may be faults on both parts, but doesn't mean he's going to have a fallout at Man United. But, you know. Rashford is United top shirt seller. His exit would require a marquee signing. Osimhen, Kuna to boost his shirt sales, helping to offset salaries, says Smoggy. Well, look, you know what, Smoggy? I find those things quite mercenary, obviously, but on the other hand, we are a business, and I'd rather be a business that's mercenary for things like that than sacking half our workforce or going cheap on signings. Like, you know, there is a value in bringing in established superstar players. Of course there is, if they fit us. And, you know, look at the number 7 shirt. It's a bloody waste of time. I just don't think people are going to be running out ever to buy Mason Mount number 7. I just don't think he's ever going to be that player for us, unfortunately. I hope he can be, but I don't think he is. Commercially, we're not really much of a seller of shirts at the moment in relation to individual players. We do need a few superstars. And Keel says, we 100% should be paying 300k if we want that calibre. Sock says, Mark is so toxic he's already written off the lap. He also says we're not accountants. Why did he start banging on about United's financial troubles? Okay, you've done a super chat, mate. It's very easy to deal with this because you're not listening. We talk about Man United's financial troubles because we're £700 million in debt. We owe over £300 million in transfers, and we're paying huge amounts of money in debt interest. We're also trying to build a stadium. We've also had somebody who's come in and kept the Glazers in the club. So those financial issues are pretty big. That's got absolutely nothing to do with whether we should buy players with money that is available from money we're going to save from removing players. Also, in relation to being toxic about Delap, grow up. Toxic is not saying, I think he's a good player, but he's not the right fit for Manchester United, which has been the consistent message from pretty much 99.9% of our fan base who don't really want Delap. Everybody's saying, good season at Ipswich. Everybody's saying, lots of potential. But everybody's saying, not the right fit for Man United. That's not toxic. At no point have I, or anybody I've spoken to, sat there and gone, he's absolutely shit. He's one of the worst strikers I've ever seen. I'd rather play a donkey up front. He's rubbish. Never been said. But this is what you get when people want the lap and can't deal with a grown-up conversation from those who don't. And I've also said, if we do sign him, even though I think it's the wrong deal, I will get behind him because it's not his fault. And if it fails, it won't be his fault. It'll be the recruitment team. So, you know, grow up, mate. Or actually, clean your ears out and listen. Zane says, is Osimhen worth 300k? Any big club will pay that. I can see he's becoming... We've done that one, haven't we, as well? I believe Andre Gomez has given us a super chat as well. Make sure you smash a like on the video. We will be ending soon because I've got to go over for the Arsenal-Real Madrid game. Andre Gomez says, I believe Ineos must do a statement signing. It's obvious at this point that the fan base is turning on them. If they don't, then I think they truly don't care about what we think as fans. I don't think their behaviour over the last 12 months indicates that they care anyway, Andre. But what I do agree with you on is that regardless of whether they're trying to win the fans over or not, signing a status player in a crucial position is an open goal. Like, yes, it would improve your notoriety, PR, popularity rating? Of course it would. But also, we need a player in that position. And also, the best player we can get in that position is going to enhance our chances of being more successful. In a footballing sense, it is an open goal to buy the best striker you can get. In a business sense, well, I still think it's an open goal to buy a striker that's going to score you goals and make you a better team and make you more popular and make you earn more money. But business people in football don't necessarily understand the value of being better on the pitch. They look at other things. And as we know, we have been run by business people for too long. How much can United spend? Rajaf, ridiculously impossible for me to predict because, as you know, we've got this big Europa League game. We've got money that we owe. Yeah, Man United, I don't know. I've got no idea. And I don't think we will know until the end of the season, realistically. But even if we don't get European football, I still think we've probably got the ability to do deals. It just depends on the risk culture of the football club. But look, I will admit, you've got to be in the Champions League to get Osimhen. I believe we will win the Europa League. So that's, you know, I'm in a position where I'm going, let's do the deal. If you don't think we're going to win the Europa League, then I would agree, you can't sign Osimhen. I think we're going to win the Europa League. I remain positive. How about a statement contract renewal? More likely, says Smoggy. Well, yeah, I do think that's where we're heading with Manu. I think that's just going to be, oh, look, he's staying, really. Okay, right, I'm going to get over to That's Football in a couple of minutes, but I really enjoyed the show tonight. Really feel better myself and feel more energised and really enjoyed the conversations as well. So thank you for everyone for tuning in. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe, of course. Tomorrow's a big day. We've got the preview for Lyon. We've got the press conference for Lyon on the evening, which I'll be with you for as well. Obviously, the 10 o'clock show. And we're closing in 48 hours on the biggest game of our season. So excited about that as well. But look, we've got to deal with the present. But the future, I was under the understanding that we were looking at best in class. I couldn't give a shit about the Monopoly bank account. I care about what's on the pitch. I'm never going to say, let's go and get Liam Delap because he's cheaper. I'm going to go, get me the best striker we can get. You got to pay for it. Do it. And that's the going rate, I think. I'll see you over there on That's Football. I'm just going to go and get myself a drink because my daughter bought me some Guinness last night for my birthday, and I was in London, so I couldn't drink it. So I'm going to sit and have a couple of those with you, watching the Champions League football. I'll see you over there in a minute. Don't forget to check out boohooMAN out. Get your GOLDBRIDGE 10% discount as well. See you over there in a minute. Thanks for watching. Great show, everyone. Really enjoyed it.